Hi, my name is Annalene, and this summer I got married. And so I went on honeymoon with my lovely husband. It still feels weird to say that. We went to Canada. We first visited Montreal and Quebec City, and then we flew over to Nova Scotia, visited PEI, came back to Cape Breton, and then ended up in Newfoundland. And we had a great time. And this is our little vlog about it. This travel vlog will be split up into multiple parts, probably 3. And this is the first part about Montreal, Quebec City, and a little bit of Nova Scotia. We start off in Montreal. This is our little hotel where they actually had some wine ready for us because it was our honeymoon. That was so sweet. The people in Canada are so nice. And I think the people are my favorite part about Canada. Nothing can top their friendliness. On that first day, we were really tired. We just chilled. We went to do some shopping, some thrifting. I didn't really buy anything other than a pair of jeans that I'm currently wearing and love. Montreal is really pretty. It has lots of old buildings, new buildings, street art that I really could appreciate. It did sometimes feel like there were no people around because everybody is driving in their car. So when you're walking, there's like no one. But overall, it was a good experience. We got to practice our French again, which was good. We held up better than we thought we would. We saw these little birds underneath the boardwalk. I had to film that as the first wildlife that we saw. There is more to come, but in the next video, not in this one, unfortunately. We wanted to climb the Olympic Tower, but unfortunately it was closed, so we went to the Biodome instead. This is kind of like an indoor zoo, I would say. I feel like it was really well managed and the animals all looked happy and pleased to be there. They had lots of room and it was really nice. My favorite part was actually like the maple forest bit, which is a part of the zoo where all of the Canadian animals were, because those were the most special to me, and there were the least amount of people there because, Canadians have already seen beavers and stuff. We walked around the city some more, we found the shopping street, and we, of course, ended up in a bookstore. I wasn't going to buy anything, but I did end up buying Anne of Manhattan. It is a retelling of Anne of Green Gables, and the author, Lucy Maud Montgomery, was from Prince Edward Island, one of the places that we will be visiting soon, and so it felt appropriate to buy that book. I enjoyed reading it. I did. I have some mixed feelings about it, and I do prefer the original Anne of Green Gables, but it was still nice to have that and to read it whilst on holiday in Nova Scotia, going to PEI and just, being in the place where it all started. We also visited Place des Arts, which is this square with theaters and dance performances, and it was a good vibe. There were loads of people there, and I actually love a crowd. And we visited this amazing vegan restaurant. There was actually a bunch of kids and youths, I would say, having like a breakdance battle, stuff going on like that, and it was really fun to be near those performers. I didn't really film anything, I also didn't join them, but it was nice to see them. Then on the third day, we went to Quebec City. We took the train. We had some amazing views. The train was an experience though. As a European who travels by train quite a lot or quite often, it's just not the same. You can feel that it is a very unusual thing for people to take the train. let's just say that. But it was nice, and we had like a 3-hour train ride where we just looked at the scenery. I read some, we listened to podcasts. When we arrived in Quebec City, it felt a lot different from Montreal. It's a lot smaller, it has a lot of winding roads, it had this beautiful library that I really enjoyed. And when my husband and I found this fountain, we knew we had to play in it. We had a great time, and I was soaking wet. People kept telling us that Montreal feels very European, but I would have to say that Quebec City feels a lot more European than Montreal does. Montreal has those big lanes with cars that don't really exist in Europe, so. There's this very famous hotel in Quebec City called Château Frontenac. This is it. And you can see it from everywhere in the city, and it's really imposing and impressive. We also did the Promenade des Gouverneurs. It is this walkway, and it walks like along the river, and it's really nice, and it leads up to this viewpoint where you can see that hotel again. That looks really cool. We also went to go and look a little bit closer. That will be in the video later on, but right now we're just enjoying the view. This is our hotel, and it had the most lovely wallpaper, and I would love to have something similar in my house. I just overall loved all of the hotels that we were staying in on this honeymoon. We worked with a travel agent, and he really picked out some nice ones. This is the Hotel Frontenac from up close. Look at how huge it is. Quebec City definitely felt more familiar than any of the other cities I have visited in North America. It felt a lot more like I was in my beloved Europe. And look at this cute little artwork. I loved it. We found another vegan restaurant, and the gnocchi that I had there were so delicious. I have been thinking about them for like more than a month. And here we have the hotel again. Robrecht and I also walked the old city walls, where we had a great view of the city and the water behind it. These were probably some of the oldest buildings that we saw in Canada, and they again felt very European, so we were right at home. We took the train back and then went to Montreal again. We walked in this little part of town that was pedestrians only and had our only bubble tea that we had on this entire trip, but it was kind of okay. We've definitely had better bubble teas. We actually stayed at the same hotel as that we had been staying before, but we just got a different room. And it was equally nice. These hotel rooms were great inspiration for some of the things that I want to do with our house. We moved in last year, and we still have a lot of personalization to do. So we also saw this rainbow, so we had to film it. We took the plane to Nova Scotia because we were staying there with my host family from when I was on an exchange program in my final year of high school. But before we went to go and visit them, we decided to visit Peggy's Cove. I had visited Peggy's Cove twice before, Robert had visited once, and we both really wanted to go back, so that was like our final thing that we did with just the two of us before we stayed with our family. And so it was nice to just spend that little moment still with just the two of us. It's a beautiful lighthouse surrounded by these lovely, lovely rocks, and it felt so nice to be back. I have this little painting that my host mother's mother made of the lighthouse, and I still haven't found the perfect frame for it, but I am dying to hang it up in my house. And we walked around, we just had fun. I think we spent about an hour there. We were really, really lucky with the weather too, because when we were landing with the plane, it actually was raining. But luckily for us, as we drove to Peggy's Cove, the weather actually brightened up, and when we got there, it was nice and sunny, so it was really great. I was so happy that everything was just perfect in that moment. Nova Scotia has a very, very special place in my heart, not only because I used to live there for 3 months when I was in high school, but also because the nature is lovely, the people are so friendly, everyone is always up for a chat, as am I, so I really feel quite at home. I don't think I could actually live there for a longer period of time, at least not at the moment, but it is definitely one of my favorite places to visit. And so when Robert and I were thinking about where we wanted to spend our honeymoon, I tried not to say Canada because we had been there before and I couldn't do it. You know, I couldn't picture my honeymoon anywhere else. Because we had been to Nova Scotia together before, we decided to add on Montreal, Quebec City, and then also BEI, Breton and Newfoundland. So that is what you will see in the next vlogs. We also found this little pathway, not even maybe, by the side of the road really close to Peggy's Cove as we were heading off, and we had this beautiful view of the lighthouse from across the pond, and it was a beautiful way to end the day and also this vlog. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment what was your favorite bit. And I will see you in the next video where we go to PEI.